I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I have no money. But what I do have is a very particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Welcome into the Bro 4 Squad podcast. Our daughters are not kidnapped, but we still have a sense of urgency tonight. This is episode 42. I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. We are a bunch of bros here to talk movies with you. Let's go around and meet the fellow bros on the show with me. First off, to a man who needs no introduction, so he doesn't get one. Our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli.
I kind of feel like that was an introduction, though.
Then I failed. That was not my intention. I didn't really know another way to tell people your name, but also have you.
You just got lawyered, man. I just took you to the court.
Damn it. Next into the lab, we have the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Brian, is it true that you weren't legally allowed back inside of a super Walmart? And if so, why?
It's only half true. It's only in Connecticut, Michigan, Oregon, Arkansas, and Florida.
Okay. That's a lot of state. How'd you get banned from a Walmart in Florida? It's anarchy down there in Walmart. And lastly, to our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, who told me just yesterday that he'd rather go back to prison than watch G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Matt, remember that?
Yeah, there's way less ass raping going on in prison than in that movie, for sure. I just bent over and took it. I actually thought it was going to be good. Shame on me.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Dennis Quaid, you owe me $15 for that. All right, guys, if you have not checked us out before, thank you for listening to the show. We like to break everything that we do down into three categories, and the first one is the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. So we start off today with a little bit of news from the rumor mill. If you're listening to this show, you probably know that John Snepp of Collider Video said today on Collider Movie Talk that he has from a source confirmed that Tom Holland will appear in the Tom Hardy Venom movie. And also today, Tom Hardy posted on his Instagram a picture of Carnage in the background behind Eddie Brock, seemingly confirming him for the villain in the aforementioned film. So, Banner, we'll go to you first. Two little juicy nuggets that we can talk about in the locker room amongst each other. Which of these, if any, do you care about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of care about both of them a little bit. I think the more interesting one is Tom Holland being in it, because that means that Marvel and Sony are still playing nice. But it also makes me more confused, because does that mean Tom Hardy is now involved in the MCU?
No one knows, man.
Because that's the one I think that's going to be more intriguing as we get into this. Carnage being in it is just fucking cool.
Cycli, we'll go to you. All I want to know is, do you follow Tom Hardy on Instagram? And if so, have you tried to slide into his DMs?
I don't, because I can only get so many boners in a day. And if I follow him on Instagram, I'm spent within an hour.
That's smart. Not only are you a lawyer, you have a little bit of medical knowledge as well. Geiger, we'll go to you. Do you care?
Pre-med at law school.
Do you care about Holland potentially being in Venom? And I mean, the Carnage, I figured we just kind of assumed would be the villain in a Venom movie. But what do you think about the potential confirmation of that?
Yeah, first off, Cycli's boners are like the NFL. It has a salary cap. It can only go so high each day. But yeah, I care more about Carnage probably because he's, without a doubt, my favorite Spider-Man villain. I love that John Snepp's doing rumors because he promised that he never does that, even though he broke the Affleck one because he's a pretentious douchebag that just wants credit for everything. But also Tom Holland in this, so I guess it connects. If it just loosely connects to Spider-Man, I don't see a problem with that. If you don't bring in anyone else in the MCU, I don't think anyone's going to get tired head from it, and people are kind of going to understand it. So I'm fine with it. I don't think he's going to be in a ton of the movie. It's just going to basically say, hey, he's our Spider-Man in this universe. But yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of funny to me. I really hope Tom Holland's in this just because I love Tom Holland and I want him in more. But the Eddie Brock being so much older than him dynamic is kind of weird. And after the Flash Thompson that we saw in Homecoming, it'll be kind of interesting to see like him go up against an antagonist like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, who's a little more menacing than Jacob Batalon's Flash Thompson, at least in my opinion.
Debatable.
Yeah. All right, guys. On to the second part of our show, our protein shake segment. Today, we are here to talk about Disney finally releasing the plot synopsis for the upcoming anthology film in the Star Wars universe, Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, I'm going to read it here. Not a lot of big surprises. But we do kind of confirm what the baseline of the plot will be. Here it is. Quote, board the Millennium Falcon and journey to a galaxy far, far away in Solo, a Star Wars story, an all-new adventure with the most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy. Through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his mighty future co-pilot Chewbacca. Grrr, I added that part. And encounters the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian in a journey that will set the course of one of the Star Wars saga's most unlikely heroes. Now, Cycly, that was actually, I think, word for word the invitation to your bachelor party. So are you mad at Lucasfilm for stealing it? And then now that we finally have some confirmation about what this movie is about, are you excited or any more or less excited than you were before?
Well, your first point, I'm not upset because I really don't remember my bachelor party, so I'm excited to relive it. But in all honesty, like, again, and this is how I feel about this whole movie. The idea of getting to see him and Chewie meet, the idea of Lando getting a big role, the idea sounds awesome. I just love the idea of getting to see Chewie and Han meet each other and become. But I don't think the execution of it is going to even come close, and it's going to ruin it. And they're going to Disney it up, and it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be too happy, I think, and I'm just gonna be let down because I can imagine it and I love it. I don't think Disney's going to give me that.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this because the thing that we all love so much about Han Solo is Harrison Ford, so I don't envy Alden Ehrenreich, mainly because his name's really hard to pronounce. Geiger, we'll go to you next. What are your thoughts on the synopsis and the upcoming Solo, a Star Wars story coming out in May?
Yeah, there's a lot of actors that can play characters, but then there's some characters that are the actor. Case in point, Harrison Ford is Han Solo. Case in point, Ryan Reynolds is Van Wilder. Go watch Van Wilder 2, the prequel, and you're just going to get annoyed. You don't love Van Wilder 2, though.
No, is it like Van Wilder, like freshman year or some bullshit like that?
Yeah, it's a prequel. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Stupid.
It's a prequel, and the kid is just annoying because he's just trying to be Ryan Reynolds the whole time, and you're like, dude, I don't want something that's like Pepsi. I'd rather just fucking drink Pepsi. So it's going to be fucking annoying. It's going to be stupid. I don't know why the fuck they're doing it, but check out our review. We're going to see it on opening night. Banner, what do you think?
First off, Pepsi's gross. I'm a Coke man myself. Yeah, I mean...
Well, I don't know why we use soft drinks. We drink beer here all the time. I don't know why I use soft drinks there.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but I mean,
Pepsi's a sponsor, so you
the kids are trying to G it up here.
Yeah, Pepsi is a sponsor.
I'm not surprised that this is the synopsis. I'm not surprised that Han and Chewie are gonna meet. I'm not surprised that Lando is gonna be in it because who else is gonna be in it? I'm pissed. I don't want to see this movie. The whole allure of Han Solo is that we don't know when he's full of bullshit or when he's telling the truth. I don't want a 2-hour movie about explaining these myths and stuff about him. With that being said, I think it's going to be a great movie. I picked it for my sleeper movie. I think we're all going to enjoy it. I think we're going to be shocked. It's got its back against the world, and it's going to do, or it's, I don't know, I'm drunk, but I think it's going to be good.
I don't think any Star Wars movie has its back against the world.
Well, mainly because that's not a fucking saying.
Yeah,
so
what was the saying I was trying to find?
Back against the wall.
That's it. That's the one. It's got its back against the wall.
What's the difference between a wall and the world, though?
It's got its back against the wall. It's had multiple directors. The actors suck.
To be a Twitter question, we could dive into that. That could take us an hour. Who knows?
God, that's deep. That gives me a great idea for a haiku, all right, once we get off the pod. I wasn't that excited for some reason until Cycly started describing the plot again and what he thought was going to happen. I was like, actually, I kind of need to see this movie now. We all know the trailer's going to kick ass, but show of hands, even though no one listening to this can actually hear it, I'll let them know the votes. Raise your hand if you think this movie is going to focus on the Kessel Run. No one?
I think it is.
Yeah, I do.
I think it is.
I think that's going to be their pod racing scene from episode 1.
So Cycly is the...
Now this is making the Kessel Run.
Cycly is the lone dissenter. We'll have to make some sort of wager on that when it comes out. All right, on to the last segment of our show, our question and answer segment. But before we get to that, Banner, was there something that you wanted to ask us earlier?
Yo, brah. You
Suh.
even left, brah? Brah, do you left?
And that brings us to our question answer segment Do you even lift, bruh? I feel like every episode this is getting elongated more and more. We need to devote 5 minutes just to banners. It's like the Chicago Bulls starting lineup.
Yeah.
I feel like
Where
I'm
we
turning into a
scout-
bird when I say it. Bro.
Where we scour the internet and find some of the best questions we could. Our first question comes to us from Phil Fang Foom, fucking incredible Twitter handle,
Love that.
who wants to know, what movie is a classic, but if it were released today, it would be straight to Crackle Fart Box, which Crackle is a really shitty app on the Amazon Fire Stick you can watch really obscure movies on. Geiger, we'll go to you first because I love the answer you gave before the pod.
Yeah, once I thought about it, I thought this was pretty easy. One of the greatest comedies ever. It come out today, everyone would fucking hate it, and that's Mrs. Doubtfire. And the reason is because in today's world, we can't have a cool fucking white cowboy that kills people because, Westerns are about slavery and stuff. And we can't have, a damsel in distress because women are powerful and shit in Hollywood. So there's no way a man could dress as a woman to try to fight for his kids after a divorce. Unless it was like an Oscar movie and he was really courageous, not to try to get his kids back, but just because he's dressing in women's clothing and stuff. I guess maybe that would have had a chance to make it. But other than that, I'm not political at all, but the one side of it would fucking murder this movie today. They'd be like, this is insensitive to the BLT community or whatever the hell they call themselves now. So that's what I'm picking. This is Doubtfire.
All right, Banner. Yeah, Banner, what do you got?
Mine, I went with one that I think was a classic comedy for our generation. We grew up loving this movie. I think it's really funny. But I think if it came out now, everybody would just think it's stupid, and that's Road Trip. I don't think it would do as well. It's not that kind of comedy anymore.
I mean, you couldn't put Tom Green in it because I feel like his sense of humor is just lost people.
Yeah.
Completely. Interesting. Cycly, how about you?
I'm going to go like ultra classic, old school.
Casablanca?
And I'm going to go really crazy here. I'm going to say Citizen Kane.
Wow.
And
That movie sucks.
no, look, seriously, like I get it for what it was and its time and what it meant. But if you really go back and rewatch that movie, the acting is so over the top. The plot is so dull and boring. And the ending is stupid. I'm sorry. The thing is, I'm not just bashing it because it was black and white and slow. I love some of those movies from the 40s and 50s. But really go back and look at it. I don't understand why everyone always has it in their top 5 of all time. I think it's just hey, it started this kind of genre or this way of filming, so we have to respect it.
Overrated. That's the Citizen Kane opinion on the pod. I'm going to go with Jaws.
You watch your mouth here.
No, listen, for 2 reasons. Piranha 3D and the Sharknado movies have made the shark movie a joke now. If Jaws just came out and no one knew what it was, they'd be like, well, that's stupid. And kids are eating fucking Tide Pods. They're not going to be scared to go in the ocean. They're actively trying to kill themselves by eating laundry detergent. They're not going to be scared of a shark. I'm sorry. All right. On to our second question comes to us from Tyler McLaughlin at Reviews from TCM, who asks, what is a movie you think deserves a second chance at the box office? I'll go first because mine's quick. Power Rangers and fuck you, China. You should have gone to see this. And China and I have a lot of unsettled beef. It's going to get settled in 2018. I'll tell you that right now. We'll go reverse order. Cycly, what do you have for a movie that you think should get a second chance at the box office?
Well, first of all, China's not going to watch any movie that comes out of Japan. So, I mean, that's the problem right there. My movie's probably Fight Club. If you look at the box office, it surprisingly did not do well. But today, it's such a cult classic. Everyone's seen it, and it really loves that movie. It's pretty revered. So I feel like if that got a re-release, I should say, I think it would do pretty well.
Especially if you just attach David Fincher's name to it again before he was the name that he is now. Banner, what do you got?
I think a movie that everybody should give a second chance is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
All right, Geiger, what do you have?
No. Okay, I got a serious one.
Give the floor. Michael Bay movie. Nope.
It's actually Pan, the 2015 Peter Pan Captain Hook origin story. Did horrible in the box office. Hugh Jackman is Blackbeard. Fantastic. I really liked the movie. I thought it was really good. It's an interesting new take on the Peter Pan story that has been played out. I think that people should give it a second chance. Would it do great? I don't know, but I think that people should at least give it a second chance, knowing now that Captain Hook isn't a bad guy.
Well, our guy Garrett Hedlund is Captain Hook, the emo leather jacket wearing member of the Four Brothers. Geiger, we'll go to you to round this one out.
Yeah, Banner, I've never seen that movie. I'm actually gonna search that out. That
You should definitely check it out. It's very good.
Mine, staying with the temperament of 2017 to 2018, like I did in our previous one, I'm going to pick The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. Because when this movie came out, first of all, people thought Ferrell was kind of fading off, and he was. I think this is one of his best comedies, and Galifianakis is awesome in it too. But given what happened between Trump and Clinton, Trump and Clinton, this isn't that far off base. And if this would come out nowadays, I think people would actually get a huge fucking kick out of it. You need to go rewatch it if you haven't seen it. The Campaign is a fantastic comedy.
And bring your brooms, because it's a mess. All right. On to our third question comes us from Blue Leafs 13 at Blue Leafs 13. He says, what trailer did you watch thinking the movie was going to be horrible, but once you watched the movie, it was quite good and entertaining? This recently happened to me when I saw The Babysitter on Netflix. I'm actually not familiar with that movie, but
I think that's Jonah Hill, isn't it?
That's The Sitter.
Okay.
So close. Geiger, we'll go to you first. You got one for this?
War of the Planet of the Apes. I saw it in every single theater I went to all summer long, and I was like, "That's it." I even quoted. You can quote me because everyone fucking has that. It's a tired ass franchise. I said that on this pod, and then I was informed I had to go to it and do a review on it. So I watched the first two, and before you know it, I'm going into the third one, fucking pumped, and it was probably one of the greatest movies of the summer. So War of the Planet of the Apes for me. It's actually really good. I hope they make another one.
You came back. You're like, I was wrong. That was fucking.
Yeah.
I think it's the only time you've ever admitted that you're wrong.
Yeah, I was definitely wrong on that. And actually, the first two are pretty good too, but that third one is fucking awesome. It's a great movie.
Cycly, how about you? Trailer that you did not think the movie was going to be good and it surprised you.
I'm going to go with, I mean, I wouldn't say the trailer sucked, but Cabin in the Woods was, and what I'll say about it is I can't say it sucked because what I love about some trailers is they don't tell you anything about the movie. And the way that trailer was, they couldn't tell you anything, so it looked like it was just, just terrible. And obviously that movie was, for someone who loves the horror genre, I loved it. Just paid homage to all horror movies everywhere. But, trailers nowadays just give you the whole movie in 3 minutes. And so, sometimes that can be something that if you don't get that now, people don't want to see a movie, but it makes the entire movie watching experience that much better.
Cabin in the Woods, Chris Hemsworth's second stateside film. You should go check it out. Directed by Joss Whedon and written by him as well. Banner, what do you got?
My trailer movie that I thought was terrible is Daddy's Home. I thought the trailer looked horrible. I didn't want to see it. I saw it 2 years later. I fucking loved it. I thought it was so funny.
It is a great comedy.
It is
the first one.
Yeah,
comedy trailers are tough. I feel
it is very tough. But like even in the trailer, I wasn't laughing. I was like, this looks like the dumbest piece of shit I've ever seen. But then I finally was like bored one day, and I thought, we'll pop it in, see what happens. I'll probably fall asleep. And
it's probably on FX.
It was on FX, and I enjoyed it.
According to this
podcast, did you pop it in, or did you wait for it to load off the internet illegally?
No one does that. According to this podcast,
we do everything by the guidelines, by the book.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna go with Get Out. When I saw the trailer to that movie at first in theaters, I was like, "Oh, this is original." And then I went to the theaters and I said, "Oh, this is original." So I could not have been more wrong about Get Out after the trailer. I'm very glad that I actually went to go see it in theaters. All right. Our last question is going to take us home. Clay at Clay19 wants to know, what movie in 2017 have you guys disagreed about the most? I don't know.
It's been
Banner.
It's tough. I don't know. I mean,
I'll say this.
I don't know.
Between us and public opinion, probably Blade Runner 2049. Geiger and I almost walked out of that thing, and people love it.
Worst piece of shit ever.
But on the pod, what, Justice League?
I actually have one that I have briefly shared with Jeff. I don't think I've told Banner this, but I was in Vegas when you guys did our Power Rangers review, and you guys killed it. It's one of our greatest reviews ever on YouTube. I watched it a couple weeks ago for about 45 minutes and turned it off. I thought it was the worst piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that.
I think there would be better off just going extremely poppy and not making a joke out of it like Starsky and Hutch, but just leaving it the way it is. I didn't like how they changed the origin, and I thought the acting was absolutely atrocious, and actually my wife did too, and me and her usually agree on movies. But I thought Power Rangers sucked. I really thought Power Rangers sucked, and I hate to say that, but I really
you agree with him?
I don't agree. Like I enjoyed the movie for nostalgia, and I watched it with Brian. I think we talked about this.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it for myself, but I don't think it was a good movie as a full-on just a general movie. But I loved it because I was a massive Power Rangers nerd.
Well, now we know which two people on the pod have the biggest contingent of Chinese fans.
Well, no, I'm not saying kill it though, because I would really be interested in a sequel the way they said it. They set it up at the end because I listened to your guys' review. I know that they teased Tommy Oliver, so I'm not saying kill it. I'm just saying the way they did it, I'm just like, dude, I'm not. I thought it was going to be they didn't know if they wanted to be poppy or dark, and they're somewhere in the middle. It was basically a DCU movie for me where you're just like, you don't know what the fuck that you want to be, and your acting's terrible.
You just can't enjoy a movie, Geiger. That's your problem.
All right,
Elizabeth Banks was so bad as Rita.
I'll give you that one.
I
Elizabeth
disagree.
Banks was
Okay, so we agree that we disagree on this. So I'm glad I brought this up to the forum, and then Banner's fucking crucifying me on it. I have a drink. You want me to rub my fucking nose in that too?
Let's go settle this at the Angel Grove Gym and Juke Bar. What do you guys say to that? And on that note, we have been the Broforce Squad podcast. Thank you for checking us out. For the mad scientist Brian Banner, our legal counsel Ronnie Cycli, and our enforcer in the paint Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek. Be sure to check out everything we do on our website broforcesquad.com. Follow us on Twitter at broforcesquad. Subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes, Bro4Squad, 3 words. If you could leave us a 5-star iTunes review, we would appreciate it, and we will read it on our show. Until next time, we will be doing karate on the mats with Zach and Trini.
You know what? I'm actually still mad at Jeff for shitting on Jaws. Jaws is a great movie.
I didn't shit on it. I said people wouldn't like it now.
People would love it.
Tide Pods.